Thank you all for coming. From my first day of TCS to me standing on this stage speaking to you all now, I've truly grown a lot. I knew one day I'd have to write a graduation speech, and when Mr. Tom reminded me of it, I didn't know exactly what I would say or how I would say it. How do you condense 4 years of your life into one speech? Well, my greatest passion is music, and if you've ever been around me, glanced at me even, usually you'll see me wearing a rock and roll t-shirt. I realized that my passion and love for classic rock music would be the way that I'd write this speech. Stevie Nicks, a great singer-songwriter, sang, "Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life?" TCS was a challenge, but I think that the child within my heart rose to the challenge. I was truly a child when I left middle school. I didn't care for politics or world events, and I wasn't aware of the impact that I could have in the world or my community. Instead of shielding me from the world, TCS showed it to me every day, the ugly pieces and the beautiful. We talked about difficult topics, which always challenged me to think, and instead of letting things be easy, they made them difficult to teach me perseverance. Through the challenge, I was being prepared to be a responsible young adult, even if I didn't see it at the time. Every day I found myself learning a new life lesson that would not only guide me through high school, but also through life. I was learning what it meant to handle the countless ocean tides and the never-ending changing seasons of my life. Change will only ever be the permanent thing in this world, but I know that I'll be ready for it. And as I go off to college, I know that I will be prepared for the academic work because I will be armed with countless work techniques and helpful habits. My classmates were always there to support me, and I cannot be here without them. I am constantly learning from their opinions, life experiences, or advice, and I couldn't have made it here without their help. All of them are unique and bring a different personality into the room and constantly challenge me to think. And they never fail to create a comfortable and loving environment that allows people to flourish. I was always supported when I got up to read and write in class, helped back up when I failed, or cheered on when I achieved something. Before I leave, I would like to tell them to take every opportunity in life that they possibly can, and I want them to know that there's always something more to learn. If I've learned anything from the dark side of the moon, it's not to waste any time while you are young. Remember that even though you don't have wings, you're learning to fly, and I want to encourage you to never give up. The world is counting on you to make it a better place. And of course, I got by with a lot of help from my friends, and I'll always try with the help of my friends. I enjoyed their company and can recall so many fond memories. From trying not to laugh in class, laughing so hard that we can't breathe, to hanging out after school, complaining to one another, to confiding in one another. After hanging out with my friends, how did I feel at the end of the day? Was I sad because I was on my own? No, not at all. I wasn't on my own, and I felt extremely happy and like I had people in my corner. Just hanging out with them never failed to make me feel better. And when I had a problem, I confided in them because I knew that I could trust them and that they would give me advice. I am especially thankful that Selma, my best friend, joined TCS. Selma always makes me laugh, has been there for me, and inspires me to be the best person that I can be. I have many fond memories of us hanging out together after school, sharing stories and hanging out with each other's families. Selma always supported me throughout high school, which I will forever be grateful for, and I will support her as well. I also could not be standing here without the support from my family, who I could always count on. My siblings were motivation to set a good example and to succeed, and I would like them to listen to Bon Jovi and know that it's their life, and that how they treat it matters, and to be like Tom Petty and never back down. Renee and William are two lights in my life, and they are such amazing siblings. As you guys grow up, I'll watch you two bloom. My mom was always in my corner, and if I ever needed a friend, I always knew that I could look to her and not to a stranger, and that she would always be there. My mom was constantly rooting for me, listening to me, and supporting me on my bad days, which I will forever be thankful for. And to my dad, who helped to spark my love for music, always gave me good advice too, especially through anecdotes. He always pushes me to think wisely and to make the right decisions. I know that I have learned a lot from him, and that I will not only use his advice in my youth, but throughout my life. He has helped to prepare me for the winds of change. Thank you to Susan, who has always stood by me, even if the sky tumbled or fell, or if the mountain crumbled into the sea. Susan watched me grow up and has been a good friend to me over the years. She is the kind of person and friend who can always be counted on and trusted. I have many fond memories of us going out to eat, going shopping, or sharing funny stories, or talking about how great Scooter was. I wouldn't be the person I am today without Susan, because she has helped me grow in so many ways. I also couldn't have done this without my teachers, who have taught me so much about myself and life. Mr. Tom always believed in me and pushed me to be my best self. He motivated me to take Journey's advice and never stop believing, because there were some days when I thought I wouldn't make it to where I am now. He constantly challenged me to think and to reflect so that I could grow, and he inspired me to want to make a difference in the world and my community, which gave me a lot of ambition to make a difference. Mr. Tom can always be counted on to give helpful advice and insight, and his classes were always in depth and taught me more than any textbook could. I often found myself relating to his music taste more than I could to my young peers. We would talk here and there about Bob Dylan songs or Pink Floyd and how great their music is. And when I was a freshman, Mr. Noah was a freshman too. We both learned what it meant to be in the school, but for me as a student and Mr. Noah as a teacher, I have many fond memories from his class and of him helping us when we needed it the most. He made learning fun and interesting and created a safe classroom environment that allowed you to express your opinion. When we were having a problem in school, he would always be one of the first to step up and ask if you needed help. The personal anecdotes he shared from his life often helped me in my own life. Mr. Noah believed in me too and always cheered any of our accomplishments on. I'll take what I have learned from Mr. Tom and Mr. Noah and search for a heart of gold. And one day, I'll be able to take what I have learned and use it to find the answers to the questions that are blowing in the wind. Thank you to Mr. Don, who gave me the opportunity to be creative and to express some of my deepest thoughts and feelings. I've learned so much about other people, the world, and myself in his class, and I've made memories that will last forever. Mr. Don has helped me to become a better writer, and it was through his class that I wrote my personal story, My Mountain, which went on to be heard by so many more people than I could have ever imagined. Thank you, Mr. Don, for letting us all know that we have the music in us, to never give up, and to know that we only get what we give. Thank you to Mr. John, my guitar teacher, who taught me so much about music. From where I was 3 years ago to where I am now as a guitar player, I have improved a lot. His classes were always fun and interesting, and I learned so much about the guitar and developed so many helpful skills and techniques. I always enjoyed getting to share different songs and stories about rock bands. I know for sure that I wouldn't be the musician I am today without Mr. John's guidance and classes. And thank you to Mr. Eduardo, who made PE fun and exciting, and who made us all feel like the best athletes around, and like no one could ever keep us down. Mr. Eduardo is a great PE teacher because he takes the time to talk with us and to motivate us to be more conscientious of our health and to exercise. When we go to PE, he takes the time to instruct us on how to play the sport we are playing, and he gives us helpful tips. Thank you to Miss Elaine, a former educator for NASA Goddard and our space lab teacher, who gave us the opportunity to learn about so many different things. With Miss Elaine, I learned things about space that I otherwise wouldn't have. She motivated us to want to know more about space and to be curious about the world around us. She helped to organize one of my most favorite trips, which was the one to NASA Goddard, which I will remember forever, and I often brag about. And Miss Elaine, maybe one day, one of us will see what David Bowie saw for ourselves and float above the world in our very own tin can. Thank you to Miss Leah, who does so much to help the school makes everyone, like the Beatles, want to come together. She is always willing to step up and lend a helping hand, and TCS couldn't thrive without her help. I always appreciated getting to talk to Miss Leah because it added to my day and made me smile, and I appreciated the times when Miss Leah added to our social studies classes by giving us information on what we were learning. Thank you to Miss Paig, who also helps the school so much. She is like the Proclaimers, because she is always willing to walk thousands of miles to be with the people she cares about. Miss Paig has fed me some of the best lunches I have ever eaten, and it was always a pleasure getting to talk to her around the school. I am also thankful for the time Ms. Paig spent with us to talk about her life work with the disabled community. She has made me so much more aware, and she inspires us all to help other people. Before I leave, I would like to thank everyone for the amazing opportunity at TCS. Thank you to the volunteers who helped the school run, and to the speakers who taught me so much about life. I will always remember the speakers that I met and the anecdotes from their lives. It was all so meaningful. I am so appreciative of the volunteers who believed in us and supported the school to help our education. Without any of you, I would not be the person I am now. I would also like to tell everyone to stay strong during this health crisis and to keep the hope that we will pull through this together. Even though it will take some time, we will make it through this. And to all the young people who are growing up in this time of uncertainty, we will be known as the ones who didn't back down, the champions who showed perseverance and who kept on fighting. I would also like to encourage everyone to stand up for what is right and to support the Black Lives Matter movement and to do as much as they can to learn about the movement. Thank you all for listening to me speak. I appreciate you all so much.